I've analyzed hundreds of hours of college football 25 gameplay, and I found 10 fatal mistakes that you shouldn't make in this game. And avoiding these mistakes helped me go from losing matches to consistently winning natties, even though I was in school full time. Starting with mistake number 1, which is not having a plan in the red zone. When a player doesn't have a plan in the red zone, they often throw interceptions, turn it over on downs, or are forced to kick 3. To remedy this mistake, I'm going to show you 5 insane red zone concepts that will have you getting 7 every time. The first route concept that I'm going to be breaking down is the hitch and table route on the short side of the field. So really it's just a hitch plus a table. But the important thing here is the alignment. You want the hitch to be on the numbers, so not too far outside, but not too far inside on the short side of the field. And then you want to have a speed table. You could find speed table in plays that are titled stick, quick slants. This is not a hot route table. So it's not the one that you see in the hot route menu where you just put them on a flat. This is a speed table. And this is really effective versus most zone coverages. And it's really great when you need 2, 3, even 4 yards. So this is a cover 2. Now what's going to happen on this cover 2 is that the hitch is going to pull the cloud flat inside and then leave this table route wide open. And this is pretty much going to guarantee you 3, 4, 5 yards. And if you throw it really quick, it can guarantee you even 10 yards. Now, if they put a hard flat on the field, so they shade underneath, that's when you're going to want to look to the hitch instead. You just want to cut it off and kind of catch it right in that soft spot in the zone. You're going to see that the hard flat is going to instantly go out and go and cover this table and then leave the hitch route wide open. Well, not wide open, but open enough to give you a touchdown for 5 yards. And it's really the same thing versus cover 3. If they have a curl flat on the field, so let's say they're in cover 3 or cover 4, that's when you're going to be able to throw this table route and be able to get into the end zone that way. And if they put a hard flat on, you could probably guess where I'm going to go with this. You're going to actually see that the hitch route is going to be pretty open, right? We did get a red pass right there, so I'm going to show it one more time without the red pass. But you're going to see hitch wide open, right? So that is the hitch table concept that's really effective at getting you 3, 4, 5 yards when you have a speed table and a hitch on the numbers on the short side of the field. This next concept is called hitches on the numbers, where we utilize a hitch route that is close to the numbers on the short side of the field to hold any flat zones and allow us to throw this slant route to the back corner of the end zone for an easy touchdown. And that's a great plan to have in the red zone and a great technique. So to run this, you want to select a formation where you can have a slot receiver on the short side of the field that is close to the numbers. Then you must make sure the receivers on that short side of the field are not running routes near the hitch, so going towards that side of the field. So this corner and this table route will really make this not work. So I'm just going to block them for this example, but you could of course put them on drags, in routes, anything that isn't infringing on that hitch. And then all you have to do is put your middle receiver, or really any receiver, on a slant route that would go over the hitch. And you're going to notice when I call this play, you're going to see the slant route will be wide open in the back corner of the end zone for an easy possession catch. Now that's versus a cover 2, but versus a cover 3 or a cover 4 defense where they could have curl flats on the field, you're going to see the exact same thing is going to happen. We're going to be able to throw the slant for an easy touchdown. So that's the hitches on the numbers technique. It's extremely effective and it's great to use in the red zone. Now, red zone concept number 2 is simply the flat wheel concept, and it's really easy to set up. So all you really want is to have a wheel route on the short side of the field, and you want to put a flat on any receiver that's also on the short side of the field. In this case, I'm just going to put a flat on the tight end side outside receiver. And then you also don't want any routes running towards the wheel route, because that will cause the zones to run into the wheel as well. So we can just put our middle receiver on anything on the left side of the field. And what you're going to notice is that no matter what defense your opponent runs, you're going to be able to throw this wheel route in that little window between the outside third and the flat. So really the flat will be pulled out to the flat route we have on the field. So the better way to describe that, because it sounds confusing, is the curl flat, so in this cover 3 defense, will play our flat route on the circle receiver Thomas, leaving the wheel route wide open inside of him. So what you're going to see is when I snap the ball, we're going to be able to throw the wheel right here for an easy possession catch every single time. Now you might say that's a cover 3 defense. What if they run a cover 2 defense where they have vert hooks? There's no way a vert hook doesn't cover that. Well, you're going to see that even if they run a cover 2 defense, you're still going to be able to throw inside of the flat and it's even going to be more open. The next concept I'm going to go over is the zig flat. Now, we've talked about the zig flat an absolute ton on the main channel, as well as victoryformation.gg, my exclusive Madden tips website, shameless plug right there. But we talked about it a lot because it's really effective. And the way to run it is to just put a zig route on a slot receiver and a flat or an out route outside of them. And what's usually going to happen is the flat is going to pull any flat zones outward and allow you to throw that zig in front of them. Now, if you are playing a cover 2 defense, that was a cover 3, you can actually have the zig be even further out. So I actually have them on the middle receiver in this trips alignment now. And usually in this case, you're going to see the zig will actually be pretty wide open, and you'll get a pretty free touchdown whenever you're 5 to 6 yards away. So definitely use the zig flat concept as much as you possibly can. Concept number 5, the wheel comeback, is arguably the most overpowered, and it was actually found by the editor of this video. So you're not gonna find this anywhere else on the internet. So what we're gonna do is put a wheel on the innermost receiver in our trips and a comeback on our outermost receiver. Now, there are a lot of subtleties to this. Number 1, you need to be at the 7-yard line or closer, because that's when the comebacks hit the back of the end zone. It's really, really important to mention. And number 1, you want to have the wheel and the comeback on the wide side of the field. Doesn't have to be a trips. You can do this out of a doubles. It's just nice to have a trips because a lot of trips alignments are in college football 25. So what you're going to see here is that the wheel route is going to pull the cloud inside far enough for you to throw that route in the corners. Let's see what happens on instant replay and how this works. The wheel is going to go up the field, and as soon as he cuts up, it pulls this cloud flat inside, allowing us to throw this comeback for an easy touchdown right here in the back corner of the end zone. Let's do it one more time for consistency's sake. You're going to see the wheel is going to pull him inside and allow us to throw this comeback for an easy touchdown, right? So those are the top 5 best red zone route concepts that you could possibly use. Mistake number 2 is calling our play from coach suggestions. The reason this is so ineffective is because it limits your play calling options to only a few plays that are often the wrong place to call. If you're a beginner player, I recommend selecting your plays in the play type menu, where you can find the exact category of the play you're looking for. For example, if you're in a 3rd and long situation, you may want to select a play in the deep pass category to get the ball downfield quickly. If you're an intermediate player that understands real football concepts, I recommend using this concept menu, where you can find concepts that beat the specific defenses you're going against. If you're an advanced player, I recommend you use the formation menu. This is by far the best because you will always give your opponent the same look every down, while also allowing you to create your own mini scheme. Before I show you the next mistakes you're probably making, I highly recommend you try victoryformation.gg if you actually want to be an elite college football 25 and 26 player. With your membership, you unlock access to over 100 game-changing videos, exclusive breakdowns, and full game plans for every playstyle, designed to give you the edge every time you hit the field. So if you're ready to take your skills to the next level, like thousands of players already have, click the link below or scan the QR code to start winning today. Mistake number 3 is forgetting to set your pass protection. When you forget to set your pass protection against many of the meta blitzes online, you can just forfeit the game because you will get sacked right into losing every game. So I'm going to show you a basic ideology to pick up some of the common blitzes you might face online. To block any heavy blitz defense like 3-4 odd, the defense I'm in right now, or even 4-3 even 6-1, all you have to do is block your tight end. If you block your tight end, everyone will have a one-on-one block, so they're going to be waiting for sheds, but the majority of the time you're going to have enough time to throw whatever pass you end up wanting to throw. As you can see, I'm able to throw that wheel route wide open for a touchdown. So once again, if you are playing a heavy set defense, specifically 3-4 odd and 4-3 even 6-1 are the most common ones online, simply block your tight end. You block your tight end and you're going to be able to throw pretty much whatever you want every time, and you're going to have enough time to throw it. The biggest telltale sign of a beginner player is defensive line user rushing, and that's mistake number 4. Now, yes, you can sometimes get a sack on your opponent. However, if you were to user a middle linebacker, you allow yourself to user those hard to guard routes and can get yourself some easy interceptions. Mistake number 5 lies in your settings, where many players will use passing settings that they just can't handle. For most people, I recommend using placement and accuracy but I see a lot of mistakes when people use it. If you use reticle speeds that are too fast, you'll miss passes. And if you use reticle speeds that are too slow, you're not going to be able to pass lead far enough, and your player will have to come back to the ball. My personal recommendation is to keep the reticle speed between 6 and 11 and ensure pass lead increase is set to none. However, if you're a beginner player that doesn't have too much time to play, I would simply use the classic passing type, which is by far the easiest to use. Now, there are tons of hidden gems on every single team that you could use in college football, so I highly recommend you go over to Create and Share, go to Rosters, and specifically go to Order Depth Chart. And this will save every time you log on, but you do have to do it every time you open the application. But you set it about once a day and you're fine, especially for the team you're using. So if I were to give you a really good example, let's go look at Miami. Now, Miami is the perfect example of why you should set your depth chart, because if you don't set your depth chart, you're gonna find that you don't have access to the best players. Don't mind that excessive scroll. Right here at running back, we have Damian Martinez. Now, yes, he has all of these great abilities, but what do you guys notice on the screen? Give it a second. The thing you should be noticing is Chris Johnson Jr. is on this team with 98 speed. So I would highly recommend you use him over the starting running back. But you would not know that or have set that up if you didn't already go into your depth chart. Another good example is the Texas team. Texas has a great roster on its own, but if you look at their linebacking core, you're gonna see that they have their starting linebacker that you have to use is only 83 speed. When in reality, you can go and use David G. Benda. I'm not gonna try to pronounce the last name, who's 86 speed and 6 foot, 241 pounds. That's much better than having an 83 speed user with only 83 agility and 89 acceleration. So now we have a great user. And then on top of that, let's look at the left outside linebacker. You have an 86 speed outside linebacker, but you actually have a platinum quick jump that's only 2 overalls lower, but 1 speed faster that you could just replace him with. And now you're gonna have a player that will jump the snap every single time and is also faster. So in general, you want to go through the team you're using's depth chart and really look at who you want where, because chances are you're missing out on some great players. Mistake number 7 is running shotgun runs to the right. This is because when you have a right-handed quarterback, the handoffs to the left are much faster than the handoffs to the right. So next time you're running from a shotgun set, make sure you're running to the left. Mistake number 8 is holding the right trigger behind the line of scrimmage. If you're passing the ball and do this, this will cause the defensive line to instantly shed and often sack your quarterback. So when you're passing the ball, don't press turbo until you absolutely have to, because this will lead to easy opportunities to step up in the pocket, to pass the ball, or sprint down the middle. If you're running the ball, this will have the exact same effect, and the defense will shed quickly, often tackling your runner in the backfield, while also preventing you from getting full control of your running back, which disables the ability to make quick, smooth cuts. So when running the ball, don't touch the right trigger until you have already run past the line of scrimmage, guaranteeing you the best chance at easy yards. This also lets you play like Le'Veon Bell used to, where you can sit behind the line of scrimmage and wait for a hole to open and get easy gains. Mistake number 9 is one of the worst, and I see it at every level, which is having bad pocket and taking sacks when you don't need to. The easy way to immediately have good pocket right after watching this video is to implement this one technique, and all you have to do is just when you snap the ball, make sure you're holding the left stick up, because if you don't do that, the first step of your quarterback is back. And immediately that gives the defense a chance of not even winning the engagement, but wrapping around and tackling your quarterback. So instead, hold the left stick up right before you snap the ball. And this will make sure your quarterback's first step is up and you're gonna be able to sit in the pocket much longer, and you can end up making a read on any sort of broken play. It is remarkably simple and very easy. So you can get more time, and you can also really win on those broken plays and create new passing windows by having an elite pocket. The last mistake is the most common, and that's forcing the ball into coverage. And I know it's obvious, but lots of players will drag a play on, and instead of throwing the ball away, they will chuck it straight at the defense. So next time you're in a situation where nothing's open and there's nowhere to run, simply throw the ball away and live for another down. Now that you've learned the most common mistakes, it's time to have the best plays at your disposal. So check out the video on screen to learn my brand new explosive Nevada Wolfpack offense.